Welcome to Let's Talk About It, the podcast, where we shine a light on the change agents and everyday heroes who shape our communities. Here, we dive deep into the lived experiences of our guests, exploring the milestone moments that have either propelled them forward or changed their paths. We anchor every conversation in two foundational pillars of the Black community: books and music. Through this unique lens, we capture, entertain, and inform, weaving a rich tapestry of stories and insights that resonate, inspire, and spark meaningful dialogue. Join our host, TJ Lowery and Shatema Gresham, as they engage with thought leaders and community change agents to uncover the rich tapestry of experiences that shape our lives. Get ready for insightful discussions, unfiltered perspectives, and the celebration of Black excellence. Let's talk about it.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Let's Talk About It, the podcast. I'm your girl TJ, and I'm so excited to welcome you back for another episode. I want to kick off and talk about a little bit of something important with my girl Shatema. Let me introduce her. Come on in, Shatema. How
Hey
you
TJ,
doing?
I'm good.
Hey, so the Black HR Society has been getting some questions regularly, and one of the top questions is, what do we call Black people, right? Is it African American? There was a time where we were called Negroes and colored. And so through the evolution, I think it's a good space for us to share what should they call us, Shatema? You've got some good insight on that. Share it with the people.
We can call me Shatema.
I like it.
So I think this is a question we all get, and most probably Black people have received this question. I think, let me preface it that it's personal to some and more personal to others. But I have always told people that African American is ancestors of slaves, specifically in America, right? So I am a descendant of slaves, and so I am, African American. When you use the word Black, that is everything. That is all inclusive of anyone of African descent. And so that is really the definition. Most people that look like me are comfortable with being called Black. I always tell people, know your audience. If you're speaking formally, you need to know your audience. African American is widely acceptable. But the differentiator is African Americans are descendants of slaves. Blacks are descendants of Africa. So that's going to include Haitians, Jamaicans, Bermudans, anyone who has our melanated skin. Yeah. So that's usually the barometer I use. But I also preface it that you're going to get, people who have a preference of being called one or the other or neither. Mm-hmm. And so you really have to just know your audience.
Yeah, I feel like Black is a culture. It is not a race, a nationality. It really is a culture. And most of us prefer to just be called Black. You don't have to be compliant. It is okay. And when you're talking to me or talking about me, to say, that Black person. So it's not a curse word. Be comfortable using that because, it's a culture. We relate to that. It connects us all, regardless of where we came from. Many of us don't know our roots, and so I might not feel comfortable with being called African American because, to Shatema's point, I have no attachment or association to my roots yet. I'm going to Africa in April, y'all. Right. So I thought that was very important to share with the audience because it is a very popular question, and especially for our allies. They're out here supporting us, and we know that, and we want to equip them with the tools so they can continue to support us and educate their people. So we are Black. It is okay. If you're not sure, you can ask, but also feel comfortable doing your own research. Back during the pandemic, I had the White Fragility book by Robin. I can't think of her last name right now, but her book blew up during the George Floyd era. I gave it out. I gave it to people and said, read this. So get comfortable with doing some research too. So Shatema, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, no
I think
problem.
that was good education for our audience.
Absolutely.
Now I'm excited for you to introduce our guest. Who you introducing us to, girl?
I'm excited as well. We have Iynna Baker with us today. Welcome to the Let's Talk About It podcast. Iynna is the People Support Manager for SWCA. She's also the business owner of New Age Vision, which specializes in skincare and waist beads. She is also the VP of Branding and Marketing for the Black HR Society. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, girl. I would like for you to share with the audience a little bit about New Age. You know, Shatema and I are familiar with your products, but I think it's a good space, especially here in Arizona, the dry weather. What you offer is phenomenal. So I need the people to know. So tell us a little bit about New Age products.
Absolutely. And thank you so much. At New Age, our main focus is providing natural, healthy skincare for, particularly for melanated skin, but really anybody can use it to help keep our skin hydrated during two seasons here in Arizona.
Right, so true.
Not only do we have like body butters, but we also have facial serums, beard oil, and hair oil to just take care of your skin. Your skin is really your first impression to people when they see you. So you want to try your best to put your best face forward.
Yeah.
And our products, like I said, they're all natural, so you can use them on your littles to your elders.
I love that body butter. It smells so good, and it goes a long way. So I definitely recommend.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much.
I'm into the waist beads. Iynna knows. I'm like, tie my beads, girl, tie my beads. But I did figure out how to get them tied. Good. They actually are accountability beads. They do a lot more. Shatema found out the hard way. But I use the waist beads to help me manage my weight. You know, they will roll up when you didn't gain weight. And if they roll down, it shows you've lost. And so if you're on a health journey, yes, they are cute. But I think there are also a few other benefits and also aspects. Shatema wanted them. And Iynna, tell us about the kids and the beads and the waist.
So back up. Right. I'm like, I want waist beads because they look cute. They look fashionable, and I waist beads. And then I found out that they do much more than look cute, and so I do not have waist beads.
But what did you find out? Don't hold that, Shatema, because you were still wanting them.
Well, what was I told? That you have to be careful what you put around your womb, right?
So
and
much
I still
power.
have a lot of working parts down there, so I will be waiting to get waist beads. We don't need any new blessings.
You weren't opposed to it, which shocked me and Iynna. And I said, girl, you better put them beads in the garbage because apparently they can aid in, getting you pregnant.
Well, I'm not mind organically that happening. I just don't need to put those things out in the universe and help.
Girl, you should mind at this stage. You have adult. Shatema has a child in just about every age group right now. So
I do. Shout out to the littles. I have a 24-year-old. I have a 14-year-old and a 6-year-old. Yeah. So look,
I'm
open
to a baby.
Put the beads away.
But I don't want to help. I don't need any help with getting them here.
Put the beads away, Shatema.
TJ was like, "What is wrong with you?"
Yes, because we should be looking to, be celebrating vacations.
Yes.
And, they say, I heard Jill Scott say, in your 20s, you should be working hard. In your 30s, you should be working smart. And in your 40s, you should be working when you want to.
Amen.
And if you have another baby.
To get them. There was some work put in there to get them, and I'm not mad at that. If that's what we got to do that. They got aunties.
They do.
They got aunties ready to go. Right? It takes a village, but I don't need no help. I don't need to just be in season. But
so I wanted to talk a little bit about dating in AZ. It's interesting. I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Milwaukee is one of the most segregated cities in the country, so it is very saturated with Black people. So dating is easy. It's actually too easy. I think the experience here in AZ has been different. What are you guys' thoughts and feels on the dating pool here?
I think it depends on if you're open to dating different cultures and ethnicities, then I think you can have a lot of fun here in AZ, especially in Phoenix. But if you are looking more so for Black male or female partner, you're going to have to be very intentional with your efforts to, find those communities where we're at. And
where are those communities? Just asking for a friend.
I can't tell you because I went to the online streets to find my partner. So, I know. But you have to be intentional here. Okay. And then also too, what are you looking for? That even makes the pool a little bit smaller too. Yeah. If you're looking for a professional, Black professional, spiritual, you got a really long list here, and Phoenix is going to be a challenge. You're going to have to really, really, really think about prioritizing what you want.
Were you on the online platform long?
Not too long, no.
Ooh, that's actually beautiful insight and out, Shatema.
Yes, I get bored on there.
I had horrible experiences on the dating apps, a few years back. Now, this was a few years back. I had, one experience, a guy was 4'8", and when we went on a date, the table was high, his feet didn't touch the floor. I like a taller man, he couldn't reach the bread, and I'm like, here, and it just wasn't a good experience. Another guy didn't really want to date. He just wanted to keep coming over. Let me come over. I'm like, no, we need to get to know each other. Yep. And eventually decided, I want to withdraw my interest. And that was a new one for me.
I love that. So perfect.
Sign me up, because I was about to withdraw my interest as well. I think it's a really different experience here. And to Iynna's point, I've never dated outside of my race. Mm-hmm. And people are like, TJ, at this stage, at this age, where you are, you have to be open to that. And so I'm trying, I want to be open to dating outside of our race here.
Yeah. I think, too, keep in mind, where are you going to be celebrated? So if the person is celebrating you.
Say that again for the people in the back.
That's where celebrated.
Go where you are cherished and celebrated, and that's where you're going to have a lot of fun, and you're going to have the most meaningful relationships. So, but don't give up hope.
I haven't. I'm a hopeless romantic.
Good.
And the statistics, the reason I actually brought it up is because statistics show that the most successful relationships are Black women and white men.
Absolutely.
And I was blown away.
Lowest divorce rate, too.
Lowest divorce rate. Mm-hmm. So those are very interesting statistics, which is why I need to be at least open to the idea.
Yeah.
So I'm open. So
yeah. There's some things we have to leave behind, but there are some things we have to be open to. I was telling TJ, I went out a couple weeks ago and had a really good time. We sat at this table, and there's these 3 guys. I had on heels. My feet were hurting. It was hot. And so I went over there and I asked if we could sit down. They said, yeah. So we're talking. The guy's like, you're beautiful. We're having something going on. And then about 45 minutes in, I was like, are you guys married? All 3 of them were married. All 3 were
wasting your time.
They were married.
Having fun.
All 3. So then they 2 of them were visiting from out of state, and so we still stayed there and had a good time. But when I was walking to the car, there was a guy that was walking by, and we were so close that I just said, I said hello. So I get in the car, and I was with my cousin, and I was taking my heels off, before I took off. And she's like, girl, he's coming back. And I was like, before I could look in the rearview mirror, he was tapping on the window. So I rolled the window down, and all I could think of, he was like somebody who, was part of the Saint Lunatics. He jumped out of the Nelly video. He had on this black bomber jacket. He had a gold grill in his mouth. He had diamonds coming down his neck. And in my head, I'm thinking, are we going to date the rapper? Are we going to do this, Shatema? And he's talking, and I'm like, is this what we're going to do? So I ended up giving him my phone number because he was really nice, and I felt like he was right there. But I was telling TJ, I'm like, yeah, I think we're not dating. We're not going to do that. We're not going to date the rapper.
My first thought is, what age range?
He was 50.
No, ma'am. Sorry.
He was 50 because I asked. He was very cute, but he was probably something that I would have like at least engaged in maybe my 20s and 30s. But he looked like we could be going to like our Nelly like photo shoot. Like I don't know what we were doing here, and I was like, yeah, we're not doing this.
You're not at that point to be doing that.
Not even for fun. Not even for fun.
It wouldn't be fun. It would be more exhausting. But she sent me the pictures, and I was like cracking up because the other thing is he sent me a picture.
I didn't even make it to the freeway. I didn't make it to the freeway. My phone chirped, and I'm like, well, what is this? And
Just
like,
in case
I was like,
you forgot.
He sent pictures. He sent his whole photo shoot. I'm like, is this what we do now? And I'm like, am I supposed to send my picture? Because what am I supposed to do with
nothing?
This? I sent a picture, but he was blocked by the new year. But he had to block him because it was like, can I come over? Let's go chill. Send me more pictures. And I'm like, do they just send pictures? Like, is that what we do?
Not in your 50s. We're not talking about. So
I was like, pictures. I can't date the rapper. Maybe a few years back, maybe before that little 6-year-old came into the picture, but. Right. You can't do the rappers
No, not
anymore.
at this stage. But I also hear women are more or less taking their shots. And, like,
yes.
I was kind of taken back by that. But I think because I've been in long-term relationships more often than not. But, like, women are taking their shots. And I'm not opposed to it. It just was a new concept that we got to try that.
Yeah. I think if you're going to date two out of the Black community, taking your shot is the way to go. Because I think other men want to date us. We may be intimidating or they are afraid to approach us. So if you take that shot, I think you'll have a lot of fun.
Okay, well,
I think so.
That's some interesting tips for this year, especially for those of us who don't have $5,000 to go on Talkify. But Shatema, let's jump off into some hot topics.
No, we do not.
Girl, what do you have for us today?
I have to wait for the Amazon man because that's who I see daily. So locally here, I don't know if everybody's heard of the bikini bean barista, the incident that happened earlier this week. So let me give you some info. So here in Arizona, there was a gentleman, I think he was like 27, 28 years old. He was driving up to the bikini bean barista. And if you have not been there, the ladies, they deliver your coffee in their bikinis. Makes sense. It's 100 degrees here all year round. So they deliver your coffee in your bikini. So the incident was, as I heard,
Hooters of bikinis.
It was like a Hooters of the Starbucks.
Gotcha.
Okay, my bad. Hooters
so this gentleman apparently rolled through the drive-through line because it's not a walk-up. You can only do drive-through. And whoever was taking the order, I don't know how she noticed, but she noticed that he was there with like his pants down. So she told her manager, so by the time you get to the window, it's actually a door, not a window. The manager is at the door. The guy, drives through, and he's literally in his car with his pants down, what appeared to be masturbating. So she filmed him. And, she says, you can hear her in the video saying, I'm going to call the police. And he skirts off. And so she uploaded the video. It went viral, like over 5 million hits or whatnot. And shortly after the video went viral, he went back to his home in Goodyear and he killed himself.
Wow.
From just, I guess, the embarrassment of it all. So I was thinking about it, from a family perspective. Apparently he was married, he had kids, but even from the employee side. And so there seems to be heavy debate on social media on, was the company wrong for uploading the video? Could this have been mitigated? Sure. Is it even a big deal?
So from what I heard and understood, this wasn't his first time.
Okay.
And so he was constantly coming through and the employees have been complaining. Yeah. And so I think from an HR perspective, the manager now has to protect the employee who then could say, this is a hostile environment for me or harassment or whatever else they may decide to claim because this man continues to come through the drive-thru. And so I think that the manager recorded him in hopes to deter the behavior. And so I think it was an attempt to protect. And so as Shatema is saying, the conflict is also the family is saying, yeah, but you didn't have to post the video. which is what caused him to kill himself. So it really is interesting because I think that the employer is trying to protect their team and their employees with an obligation to do something, because what else could they have done, compliance officer?
Right. First off, extremely unfortunate ending to this story, because I think the gentleman definitely needed help.
Yeah, I'm like,
and it was a missed opportunity to get him
Yes.
the resources that he needed. I'm kind of torn because from a business perspective, right, like everybody should have a policy in regards to social media and posting. And if you're in the workplace,
Didn't even think of that.
I didn't even think of that.
so if they didn't have anything, that's one thing, but that would be my concern. Also, posting indecent behavior too is what are the legal ramifications of that? But in regards to the family and their response, I don't necessarily think there's anything that the store owner could have done or manager could have done to deter that situation when it comes to protecting your employee. Like that information could have gotten out either way. So, that's unfortunate. I feel for the family, the embarrassment that it must cause them. But from a manager, you have to protect your employees, that risk there.
Because then it puts you at risk, right?
Absolutely.
Now you know that this is happening and there is no, you're as an employee, because apparently the manager hadn't seen it before. It was reported to her. In doing that as well. So I just thought it was just one of those like odd things that like really happened. Like, did this happen? This really happened.
So the important piece for me too is, as a small business owner, you need to understand that an employee can go and file an EEOC claim against you. And you have to be able to show that you performed, that you responded, that you took some type of action. And I think that was the attempt of that manager, not necessarily thinking about the person, right? Because in their mind, the person is the perpetrator. You are impeding my business, my employees. And so I think that they were trying to take some course of action to protect the employee. They never thought that this could impact this person.
Absolutely.
Obviously, to your point, something was wrong with him. And so I saw the video. I saw his face when he looked into the camera, and it was like sheer, like, oh my God, like shock in the way he drove off. But I don't think they could have even thought that
Absolutely
would be
not.
the outcome.
Do you think she uploaded it to help with identifying him? Like why upload it?
Ooh, I think
You know what I mean? It's one thing to take the video and to report it internally or to give it to police. But I just think we're in everybody's phones are on, and it's sometimes the first thing that we do.
Absolutely.
That was the only thing I thought of, the HR person in me was like, what was the intent to post it? Did you do that in an attempt to identify who this person was, as opposed to taking the video and using it as evidence or collateral for the police or, whatever their internal procedures are?
Right.
I think if there was an opportunity, that would probably have been just the coaching and the opportunity of the intent to putting on there. I mean, she probably didn't know she was going to get 5 million hits on it either.
Yeah.
But definitely unfortunate how it ended up for everyone involved, for the, just think of the responsibility of the person who posted it and the family and everything else.
Yeah, I think it was the embarrassment. I think the deterring, I'm going to embarrass you. We think about, like, when you've done something this bad to somebody I care about, I want you to pay, and I think about R. Kelly. Exactly. R. Kelly, for me, I saw my mom posting about him, and I'm like, you take that down. You know, he doesn't deserve to be supported based on what I know he's done. And so I feel like there was a feeling of, I want them to be held accountable for what they've done. So interesting. Well, what's our next topic?
Well, next topic. So Starbucks, they just finalized that they're ending their open door policy. So basically, customers must buy something in order to use the bathroom or to sit and hang out in there. So you can no longer just go and hang out in Starbucks.
Oh.
And I feel like, to me, that's a culture thing. Like,
Absolutely.
I just feel like that is just, I work from home with my business, and sometimes I just go in there just to be around people and the energy and, like, refocus. But they are saying in order to hang out and use the restroom, you're going to have to purchase. And their attempts was more for like homelessness and people that were just coming in there and, living there. Yeah. But it's going to be for all of their North American stores.
So their core why was the homeless people keep coming in and taking advantage of the space. Do you think it's disruptive, homeless people, like maybe to the guests? Because I agree with you. We all are like, ooh, I'm out and about. I got this meeting. Let me just pull into a Starbucks. And so I'm just trying to. I thought the closing open door policy was to the employees. I'm like, what does that mean?
No, it's going to be for the public. Okay. So in their North America, and it's going to be, what I read was the driver was homelessness, and I think just people just coming and staying there and not purchasing things. Wow. Yep. And they also had contributed that they're losing money. So it could be all the competition with all of the other coffee places. Okay. But like Starbucks is not getting as much business as they were before, which sounds crazy to say out loud, but yeah. So I think that's just kind of going to be a culture change for a lot of people.
I always assumed, like every time I go and I buy something, I always assumed that then I could sit here and hang out, especially after that incident when those brothers were sitting there too long. I remember they kicked them out and then they shut down Starbucks to have DE&I training.
Yes. I don't remember that story. Was that during the pandemic?
Oh, I can't remember how long ago this was, but they had called the workers called the police on them because allegedly they were there and they didn't either buy anything or it's been a while. I'm not very strong on the details, but so since then it's kind of always been in my head to purchase something if I'm going to hang out there. But one thing I have noticed with Starbucks is their buildings are smaller. There's no room to really sit in there anyways. And I think that goes along with what they were trying to do. They're conditioning you. It's too small to even hang out in here. And now here's
get out.
Yeah. So I get it. I get it.
Interesting. I feel like there's too many though. Like where I live, there is a Starbucks on 3rd Street. There's one on 7th Street. There's one inside the Safeway on 2nd Street. And so maybe the loss of business could assess that. Y'all may,